And we're recording.
There's the light.
It's blinking.
It's blinking. Watch what you say.
Got to DIY. Oh, baby, you know why. Well, if you got the time, I'm gonna give it a try. But before you start, we got advice for you all. If you got to hammer, then you got to saw. Baby, please, don't look out that wall. Don't look out that wall. Please do not look out that wall. So this is let me go ahead and I'm gonna kick the tires. Let's do it. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Don't Knock Out That Wall. I'm Matt.
Woo! I am Brandon, aka Agent Wiggins.
Agent Wiggins.
Today is a good show. Today's a good show.
What we were just talking about was sort of apropos to the podcast itself. We were just talking about getting COVID shots, and I wanted to say, Brandon, I'm looking forward to getting ours because I'm looking forward to doing this in person.
Yes, I'm looking forward to doing a whole lot in person.
Yeah.
And whether you are for the vaccine or against the vaccine or whatever, like the people up top that judge whether you can do this in person or not want you to get that vaccine to be able to do this in person.
Yeah.
So, that's enough in itself for me. Plus, I don't want the COVID.
Yeah.
I know too many horror stories from people personally that have the COVID or have had him, and
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I know people that have had it. Our neighbor's sister-in-law passed away. She was older and had health problems, but it was still really sad, and so she was like, I'm getting my shot, and I don't know why anybody else wouldn't want to get it. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't either, but
Yeah.
So yeah,
Great,
my wife
great.
and I have our appointment.
Crazy stuff. I've got a friend that has had it a long time ago, and she still does not have her taste or smell.
Ooh.
They have both come back for a day, like multiple times since she's had it, and they like just came back for a day and then they left again. So yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, no. So yeah, everyone listening, I just mentioned this to Matthew, but I got mine yesterday. So, or the first round. Pretty sore yesterday. Today is a lot better. So we're good to go. I'm excited about it.
Ashley's mom got her second one today, and she's feeling it. She has a sore arm, and she was taking a nap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She'll be good.
I think like 2 or 3 days after Lizzie got her second one, she was pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
Which, if I get exhausted, I don't know if it's just because of multiple jobs or if it's a shot or.
This guy right here, ladies and gentlemen, he burns the midnight oil, as they say.
So I got my shot yesterday morning, and then I went over to the flip and put around a stain on all the hardwood floors, which is basically like a hardcore mopping and everything.
Yeah.
And I was so sore last night, and I couldn't tell you if it was the shot or mopping, working days straight at that place or what. But yeah, last night was a lot. It's better today.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I saw your video of you sanding the floor. That looked like it was fun.
Sanding the floor. So that machine, it's like it's called a drum sander.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main sander that you're going to see sanding hardwood floors. It was actually pretty easy to use. It's one of those things where you have to like go with the grain, right?
Yeah,
that's the number one tip everybody has. And then you have to make sure that it's moving when you let the sandpaper down, because it digs into the wood pretty quick. So you've got to kind of be careful with that, but it was really good. The sanding of the edges was horrible.
Yeah.
I bet. Because that drum sander doesn't get the edges like next to the baseboards and in corners and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they make this edger, which is probably a foot and a half tall, and you have to hold on to it with both hands.
Yeah.
It is a beast. And talk about like a workout, just holding it to where you can handle it.
Yeah.
And it'll go through the wood pretty quick too. So you've got to keep it moving the same way along the side.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a weird little swivel wheel. And if the wheel gets stuck, it'll jerk you one way and then jerk you the other. And you're like, I mean, it's a core workout for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm just picturing something going horribly wrong, like somebody calls your name and you're like, "What?" and you stop, and suddenly it's like grinding into the particle board and the subfloor. It's just like, oh no!
It would not stay still to grind into it. You would look up and it would take off across the room.
Ah!
cut a big line into the wood crossways. So that's what that would do.
That's even
Luckily,
better.
that didn't happen, and it looks like it's going to turn out pretty good. So
That's when you get the Doppler effect.
yeah,
Unplug it.
yeah.
So speaking of tools and appliances and machines and stuff like that, is that what we're talking about today, Brandon?
How long they last?
Yes.
Yes.
Inquiring
Yes.
minds want to know.
Um, well, do you want to start out with the? So you went straight to the tool. I don't have how long tools last because
Oh,
that really depends on what brand name you get and how hardcore uh, you use them.
yeah, I can tell you, like a rubber mallet doesn't last very long if you're wailing on a piece of wood. Um, so that
Yep.
happened to me the other day. It fell apart. So
Yep.
don't do that
Yep.
unless you just have a bunch. It's all you have, and you have like, 100 rubber mallets, and you really have to split this piece of wood. Still probably not going to happen.
Honestly, I wouldn't recommend a rubber mallet to split a piece of wood. I don't know who told you that was the best tool to
I
use.
don't. If I could explain to you what my process was at the time, yeah, I might be a smarter man.
Hey, we've all done things that are equivalent to trying to split wood with a rubber mallet. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be upfront with you.
Okay.
The reason why I was using that rubber mallet because it was the closest hammer. I could have gone up the hill, around the corner, into my garage, and grabbed an actual hammer. But no, I was like, no, this will be fine. This will work.
You know that happens all too often. It really does. I've been there multiple times when
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this isn't the best tool, but it's the tool that I have here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make it work.
Mm.
And then you break it, and you're like, all right, let me stand up and walk over here.
And you walk by somebody. What's wrong with you? Don't.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You go to the tool bag, and it's not there, and you're like, where did I put it? Hmm.
It's
My
in your
axe is
pocket.
supposed to be in the tool bag.
Yeah.
Axe is not in the tool bag. So anyway, that's tools. That's how long they last.
Yeah.
It could be a very short time if you have the wrong tool for the wrong project.
Yeah, that's the key. Use the right tool for the right project, and it'll
Yeah.
probably last you a really long time.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say I'm not a big, like, buy the most expensive, the best name brand thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend that for everybody just because it depends on the level of DIY work that everybody's going to do.
Right.
Right. So if it's small projects here and there, you can get an off brand name. Like we've mentioned Harbor Freight on the show before. That's a common
Yeah.
store here in Central Arkansas that has, I guess, off brand tools, but most of them are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're not going to really bring it through the ringer, those are good. Of course, you can go up to like what Ryobi and DeWalt and those kinds that will probably last a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the like contractor level tools
Yeah.
that they really don't sell at most of the big box lumber places, which I found out recently. Home Depot, the rental place, you can actually buy their tools.
Oh,
They
really?
have the tools that you rent.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually buy some of those. Some of those are on sale, and they've got everything from just tile saws. I mean, everything that they rent, little paint sprayers, up to the whole like they had oh shoot, what was it? Some kind of trailer that it's like a dump truck trailer,
Yeah.
and it had some kind of solar panels on it that helped. It was crazy, but everything was like half off. Of
When
course,
was
it's
it?
been do what?
When was this? I
This
mean,
was
I guess.
like last week when I
Oh,
was renting the sanders for the hardwood floors.
yeah.
Yeah, you can actually go on Home Depot and just look up the tools that they have on sale
Let
from
me.
their rental place.
I got it. Okay. So, okay. So it was online. Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was now. See, this is my imagination going crazy too. Like you pick up the thing, and then there's this guy around the corner, like, "Hey, you want to buy one of these?"
It's
It's all.
actually after you rent it, you go out into the parking lot when you're loading it up into your truck. There's a guy that comes around. He's like, hey, I got one of these in my truck over here. Put that one away. I'll give you a really good deal. No, they have it online, and they also had a board in that store that I was renting the Sanders from
Okay.
with a list of everything. And everything was pretty much half off.
That's cool.
I mean, everything's been rented out and used by no telling how many people that don't know how to use these things. But
Yeah.
these items that they rent out are made for those types of situations.
Yeah.
So they're going to last for a while.
Hmm.
Speaking of lasting for a while,
Yes.
let's go into today's topic on how long do ordinary household items last.
Today's topic. Does I have some sort of sound effect there? Today's topic.
That's really the only sound effect that I know.
I mean, it works.
It works. Okay, so what do you think? Going from okay, so you mentioned appliances. Appliances are on the list. I can go small and go up to the main ones,
Okay.
or I can do your main ones and finish with the small little ones that you wouldn't even think of lasting for a while.
Yeah, let's start. Let's start with the main ones. We got your
What do
basic.
you
You
think?
got your stove. You got your fridge. You got your washer. You got your dryer. That sort of thing.
Okay, appliances.
Are those the basic?
Stop.
Would you say those are the basic four that everyone has?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you can even go into like, let's see, dishwasher, fridge, oven,
Dishwasher.
microwave, washer, dryer. All of those that I've seen are around the 10-year mark.
Okay.
Um, some of them are the lower end. I think the range and your washer dryer are 10 plus years. And then your other things like the fridge, dishwasher are probably a little less than 10 years.
Hmm.
That's how long they would last. And most of those things, let me see here. I want to say they just kind of go out, and that's when it needs to be replaced, right? So you're not going to look at a dishwasher and say, "Oh, it's 8 years. We should replace it."
Yeah.
More than likely, you're not going to do that. More than likely, you're going to actually wait till it goes out. And if you have appliances that are close to the 10-year mark and you don't have a home warranty, this is the real estate agent in me. I would highly recommend getting a home warranty for your house.
So I will back that up 100% because we have a home warranty. Granted, I guess, we're drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. Brandon was my real estate agent, so
Mhm.
he roped us in on that one. But it's advantageous. Yes, I definitely agree. We've had to use it once specifically on repairing something that needed repaired immediately,
Mhm.
and we only had to pay a small deductible, and
Yep.
it
Yep.
worked out great.
I've had them myself on rentals that I've owned,
Mm-hmm.
and I've used them with that. I've had plenty of clients. Pretty much every client that I have, I will almost always at least go into a house that they're trying to buy and off and have the seller start with a 1 year warranty, paid by the seller on the house because it's just, I mean, it's like usually less than $600 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that they cover are amazing. And especially if you're like a first time home buyer or you have things that are probably going to be going out soon. And these cover everything that your insurance doesn't cover. So they go from your HVAC unit, plumbing, main electrical issues, like breakers, your breaker box outside, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think. You can add all of your appliances to it. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have, your dishwasher, fridge, that kind of thing, you can add to it. And what the service fee is usually around $75
Yep.
here.
Yep.
And that pays for whoever to come out to take a look at it. And they will tell you what needs to be replaced. And the warranty company will replace those items. And almost always is the warranty company replaces it 100%. So, I mean, I've had the outside AC unit completely replaced by a home warranty. Now they came in and they tried to replace, I think, a fan once, and then it went out again, and they came back and replaced like a fan condenser unit, something else, and that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up breaking a few months later, and then they were like, "Okay, yeah, we'll give you a whole new AC unit." So, absolutely,
Yeah,
those
we
help.
we
Yeah.
have a basic, I guess the basic plan, but we did add the refrigerator. I'm
Hmm.
we're taking bets actually as to which one will go out first. We don't because we don't know how old the appliances are. My guess, just from looking at it, would be the dishwasher. It looks the oldest.
Yep. Yep.
So
And I don't. You would probably have to take them completely out or look at. I know in the ovens, like in the inside of the ovens, they have that label where it has like the security shoot
serial number.
serial number. Thank you, and the model number. Uh, I know the fridge has the same thing somewhere inside. I don't know about a dishwasher. I don't know how to
Yeah,
tell.
it's probably somewhere in the part,
There's
60% of the outside of the dishwasher you can't even see, so it's probably
right.
somewhere in there.
Yep. Yep. You probably have to take it out or something crazy for it.
Yeah,
Um,
dishwashers look weird too whenever you take them out because all you see is just the front part and the inside.
mhm.
You take it looks like a turtle without its shell or
It
something.
really, it really does. Yeah, it doesn't make sense what it looks like when it's not underneath the counter.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. Let's see here. Also inside, let's talk about safety items. Your smoke alarms.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things that most people won't think about. So your smoke alarms, everybody knows that you're supposed to change out the batteries at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do the when the time changes, so they'll do it twice a year.
Yeah.
Anytime the time changes, they'll replace the batteries. It's a good note. But your smoke alarms themselves last about 8 to 10 years.
Mm.
So if these smoke alarms are over 10 years old, you should replace those.
We just had that happen too. We were getting some sort of alarm. I can't remember what it was, but when I looked up the specific alarm, it was basically the end of life alarm. Like, you need to replace this thing. So, but we got a cool new one that's fire and carbon monoxide together.
The combo.
And the I don't know why they took so long to design these things like this, but this one, this newer one, you can put there's a hatch on the front face to put the battery in, so you don't have to take the stupid thing off the wall, and trying to line up the little grooves and screw it back on there.
That doesn't sound right.
So
It needs to be really difficult to do
what to replace the?
to replace the smoke alarm. Yeah.
No, I mean
It's
replacing
always
the.
been it's always been that way. So I don't know why they're trying to make these things easier for people.
Look, I'm not going to let you take this away from me. I was so overjoyed. It's a selling point too. You look at it like you can put the battery in the front. Buy me. So I did.
Yeah. I'll pay extra for that. Absolutely.
There was one thing I was trying to figure out, and maybe I shouldn't even mention it because I don't even know what it was. But there were two different price points in these alarms. They both, I was looking at the specs, and they both seem to be exactly the same, but one of them was like $10 more than the other. And so I was like, well, because they both come with an end of life alarm. They
Hmm.
both come with the front hatch. They both come with audible alarms for carbon monoxide and fire.
Okay.
It was just one of those things like, well, I think I ended up buying the more expensive one just because, I feel like, well,
Did
maybe I'll need this extra whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever's in there, it's in there. Does it have something to do with the battery? I know some of them are kind of like getting away from the double A's that you have to replace all the time, and they'll have um, what is it like lifetime batteries in it, which
Not well. This one didn't. This one specifically because they had two sections where you can buy the detectors that are, I guess, tied into the electrics of your home,
hmm.
so they don't have a battery. But the ones I bought were standalone with a battery. Took a 9-volt battery.
Okay.
But yeah, I've seen those before too. That actually has a wire that plugs in the back, and I guess
Yes. So it plugs in. So if one of your alarms goes off, all of them
yes,
go off.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have a big enough house for that.
Which is definitely good. You don't need a big enough house. You can have three alarms and you know,
How many? How many? How many do we need in a house this size? Is there a
you're
house?
supposed to have a smoke alarm outside of every bedroom and then for sure one in the living room. And I think it depends on like how big the house is, how many other ones there are.
Yeah.
I think one is kind of outside your kitchen. I don't think it's in the kitchen, but it's like the room adjacent to the kitchen, possibly.
The one we replaced is right there in the living room, which is, you know, I mean, the kitchen and the living room are basically connected. So
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. If you're replacing them or just adding smoke alarms, I would go on the you need more than you think you do
yeah, yeah, yeah.
side,
Okay, you're right.
right?
Yeah.
Because
When we're
like a
talking
smoke
about
alarm,
save, yeah.
it lasts for 10 years, right? And the one that you bought was how much?
Oh, $40.
Yeah. And that was the expensive one.
Yeah.
So $40 to save your house from burning,
I mean, it's worth it.
add an extra one. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I might go so far as to say that I will pay a lot more than $40 to keep my house from burning down.
I think my internet was going crazy. You stuttered on that one.
Oh, what I said was it might be a crazy thing to say, but I would venture to assume that I, among other people in the world, would probably pay upwards of $50 to prevent their house from burning down.
I would say it's depending on your situation, but yeah. I would probably go up to 50 for that. Yeah.
40 is the floor.
40 is the floor.
I
Yeah.
go upwards of maybe 55.
55 after tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We get crazy. I mean, at some point you just had to be like, yeah, insurance will take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, kind of on the same lines, fire extinguishers.
Hmm.
How long do they last? Everyone should have a fire extinguisher, at least one in their house.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. How about yourself?
I have Ashley's mom gave us one, but I can't. I'm thinking. Well, how long do they last? Because I'm thinking we might need another one.
They last about 10 years.
Oh, 10 years. Okay.
Yep. And depending on how old they are, they should have a pressure gauge on them.
Mm-hmm.
And they will have a scale in there. And as long as it's the pressure gauge is in the green, then you should still be good.
Yeah. Okay.
So check that pressure gauge because that's going to be the biggest thing is to make sure that it can, spray out all of the extinguisher, whatever it is in there. I don't even know what's in a fire extinguisher that puts out the fire.
Um, I guess it varies. I've read up on this. To be honest with you, I couldn't remember off the top of my head. It's definitely, something that suppresses maybe.
Some kind of something.
Yeah. Keeps the fire from getting fuel because that's what fire needs is fuel.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they last about 10 years and they should have a little gauge on them. As
Mm-hmm.
long as the gauge is in the green, should be good.
You know what? I bet some of them actually, because fire needs fuel and heat, right? So it probably combats those two things. You might have
Yeah.
some sort of endothermic reaction.
Mm-hmm.
This is me vamping, though. I'm no scientist, nor
And
am I.
air. It needs air somehow too.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably gets rid of all of those. Do you know a fire extinguisher is only supposed to be used to actually get you out of the house? Like that's why they're made. They're not made to actually you be a fireman and take the fire out and put it out. Like the main original purpose of a fire extinguisher is in case of a you know total house fire, it'll get you out.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably good advice to give right now. If anyone, yeah, don't think that if you have a fire extinguisher and you have a large fire in your house that you're going to be able to put it out.
Yeah, don't be a hero because
Yeah,
the fire extinguisher, you don't know how much is left in there, and once it's done, it's done.
yeah,
So if there's a lot of fire left, uh, you're in a bad place.
yep. You're going to have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time. So might as well just take that fire extinguisher and make a path out of the house and let the professionals take care of the rest.
Yes. So I'm noticing a trend here. A lot of things are within the decade mark, 10 years.
Yes, and oddly enough, most of the things are they go around the same time. Let's stick with the decade thing. Another usually an interior, at least used on the inside, is your water heater,
Yeah.
and a water heater is about 10 years. That's the life of it. Now, water heater upkeep. Not a lot of people do this, but you can actually drain your water heater
Mm-hmm.
and refill it, which helps prolong the life of a water heater itself. And this is a tanked water heater. I don't know about a tankless water heater, how long they last.
Um,
Now that I'm
yeah,
thinking,
I wouldn't. They, yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely. I think so. The last episode that I edited, we talked about winterizing stuff.
Hmm.
That was during the snow apocalypse.
Yeah.
So we mentioned a couple times that you and I can have an entire episode dedicated to water heaters, and we can touch on that because that's something that I would like to know. Because we were talking about what you need to do to winterize, and it's
Hmm.
basically just draining the pipes. I mean, it's mostly just the pipes and a heating element. So
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So there we go. Okay. Yeah, we could have a whole show still on a water heater. That's crazy. It's such a basic household appliance,
I know.
and yet there's a lot of things to talk about with it. Okay, so they last about 10 years. Um, let's start going on your main units or the exterior of your house.
Okay.
So now we're bumping up the years. We're going to go with your HVAC system, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. I feel like that needs a big music. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Say it again into the mic, and I'll give you a bunch of echoing.
Okay. The HVAC system, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. I thought it was going to be more dramatic than that.
Well, it's gonna be in post.
Oh, it's going to be in post. Okay, I got you. All right, so this is going to include the outdoor unit, your actual furnace, which is more than likely going to be in your basement or your attic, and we're going to lump the ductwork in there with it as well.
Okay.
And we're looking at that about 15 to 20 years. So now we're building up. We're going more than the 10-year, the decade thing on everything else inside the house.
Hmm.
And a good rule of thumb, if you're replacing anything with your HVAC system, you need to replace all of it, or at least get the ducts cleaned when you're replacing the outside unit and your furnace. And I think some of them, it may be the outside unit and furnace is all in one.
Hmm.
Yeah, those huge things that are attached to the house itself, and not like the little small outdoor unit.
Yeah.
I think those are kind of an all-in-one deal, but they'll last about 15 to 20 years. Helping those outside units will need to be cleaned, preferably once a year prior to the summer, and that's basically having an HVAC company come out and kind of spray down the coils. We may can do a DIY thing on that too.
I when I first moved in, I actually did. So I thought I could schedule a cleaning with the warranty. But basically, that wasn't covered. But I found out that I just bought a can of coil cleaner and sprayed it on because I don't know if it had ever been cleaned. It
But
was
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
dirty.
yeah. That's one of those things that gets overlooked
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
easily, which shouldn't. So yes, I would say at least once a year, clean the coils on the outside unit, and of course, change out your air filters on the inside of your house. I think most of those usually go about 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the brand, and they have a lot of different types with that.
Yeah. And to reiterate, you can get a subscription service for that if you need any sort of reminder, because that's what I do because I don't ever remember unless I have it just shipped to me. It appears on my doorstep. Oh, there. Okay, it's time to change the filter.
Yep, absolutely. Very good tip to re-bring up in this episode. Yes, the air filters, you can get them in a subscription to come when you need. Yeah, yeah, which is amazing. Like that's genius because that's
Another
something that
thing.
everybody needs,
Yeah.
and you don't. I don't have a subscription, and I almost did when I had rentals
Mm-hmm.
for the renter itself. So I gotta just have a subscription for air filters to be sent to the rental.
Yeah.
So that's taking care of my house, but it's an air filter that I'm buying for the renter to remind them to help keep my house, the AC unit going well.
Yeah.
But I never could find a subscription unit that would do more than one house.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
that was a long time ago, and it was very lightly researched. So that's probably a very easy thing to do nowadays. But I don't know. We'll see. That was back in the day. So now what I do is when I put the air filter, when I replace it, I'll put an expiration date in magic marker where I can see it from outside the filter.
Yeah.
Like, so just when I'm passing it in the hallway, I can look up and see when to change it.
Nice.
Yep.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
A little tip for other people that don't have a subscription or don't remember when you put that in there.
It's okay to do both. If you just, for some reason something happens,
Double up on
doesn't
it.
do
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Your ductwork needs to be cleaned.
yeah.
And it needs to keep cleaned.
We just took a walk the other day. We take a walk around our neighborhood, and we walked by a house in the neighborhood, and the entire ductwork and the outside unit were just on the front lawn.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
They probably just felt like they didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, I'm done with this.
the weather's been so weird lately. It's like, why even run any sort of unit? Just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
just dress accordingly.
All right, so we've got the HVAC unit, water heater, outside. So windows are a big thing. You just got new windows,
Yes, I did.
and most windows that I saw were going 25 to 35 years. Do you know offhand what kind of warranty or how long that your brand new ones go for?
Their lifetime, actually.
They have a lifetime warranty?
Yeah, they transfer to whoever owns the house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think the windows, the main deal with that is they're more commonly replaced just because either the seals are broken or it's more of a insulation type thing. Like like the technology just keeps getting better and better,
Right.
and it's worth it to spend the money to replace the windows for better windows, kind of a thing. I think that's where most window replacements come from, and windows just don't like give out and just die like most of your appliances. Like your
Yeah, that's
like
good that your window just doesn't, break down and deteriorate or
yeah, it doesn't end its life and be like, okay, I'm done being a window. I'm out of here.
I mean, at the very worst, it could just not open, which is still a window. So
Yes, which there is yearly maintenance on your windows, and those are the tracks inside of it.
okay,
So
yeah,
at least once a year, you should open up all your windows and clean the little tracks and everything inside of it because stuff will get built up in it, and over time it'll be harder and harder to open, which is a huge safety concern
right, yeah,
because in an emergency event, the window is an egress and a way to get out of the house. So you want to make sure that all of them open and you're not stuck in the house.
yeah. Double check that if you buy an old house and make sure somebody didn't paint all the windows shut.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that's what you want. I don't know.
It's happened. I've seen it multiple times. All right, so exterior. Oh, here's something that you may not know because I mean I feel like the HVAC and the roof and let's see, HVAC, water heater, roof. Those are probably the main things. I know, especially when buying a house, that you look at But your gutters and even the shutters on your windows can go out, and they last about 20 years. So here you go. You got your HVAC unit and your guttering system lasting about 20 years. Your windows are looking 25 plus, depending on how well they're insulated and usable. And gutters need to be cleaned, right? Depending on how many trees you have in the area, how much, the leaves and limbs and everything to get stopped up. Probably at least once a year. Let's see here. So we mentioned roofs. Let's go to roofs. We had a whole topic on roofs at one time. And we probably mentioned this before, so I'll just kind of touch base with it. So there's two different types of roofs that are the most common. There are your asphalt shingles, which are AKA the 3-tab, which is probably going to be the most common. And then there's the more advanced architectural shingles. The asphalt shingles, you can tell with it because they're more rectangle.
Yeah.
Pretty flat, pretty rectangular. They say most of them are a warranty between 20, 25, and 30 years. They rarely last at least that long or even longer. Usually you have to replace them at about 15 to 20. So whatever the warranty is, I know this seems like really weird. Like if it's a 20-year warranty, you're probably going to be better off replacing it at 15 years, even before the warranty goes out. Now your architectural shingles, they're thicker, they're a little bit heavier. They're not in a perfect rectangular shape. They have a kind of a little design on them, so you can kind of tell what they are. Some of them warranty up to 50 years, but you're probably going to replace them between the 20 and 30-year mark, which is still pretty good. I mean, you're going to have your house paid off probably by the time, fingers crossed. You need to replace the architectural shingles if you have them brand new. And that's probably one of the most, let's see here. Architectural shingles can last up to 50. Now there's siding, which depends on what kind of siding you have. There's the old school aluminum siding, which only lasts about 15 to 20 years. And you're going to probably want to repaint that every 5-ish years because the paint just doesn't really, between all the wind and the rain and all that kind of stuff, it beats the paint off of that pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Same thing with wood. Probably about every 5 years, you're going to want to sand and repaint wood siding to keep it going.
Yeah. And
that can last 20 plus years. It just depends on how well it's taken care of. And which is kind of weird because I know a lot of houses like in the 20s and 40s around here that have wood siding, but a lot of that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, there's a guy down the street from us that has wood siding, and it looks pretty cool, but it does look weathered for sure.
It's a lot. It's a lot of maintenance for the wood siding. Yeah. So the new part of the siding, you're probably going to have vinyl. They also have the cement, the fiber cement, or the what is it? Cement board, I think is what it is. And those are going to last pretty much your lifetime. I mean, those are rated 40, 50 plus years. Your vinyl is pretty maintenance free. All you're going to do is just kind of pressure wash it when it needs it. The cement board, probably about the same thing. You're going to pressure wash it. You may repaint it here and there. But those two are going to be pretty maintenance free and last a whole lot longer than anything else.
Yeah.
Segue from wood. So let's go into decks and fences. We pretty much touched on that in a past show as well.
Mm-hmm. We haven't really talked about fences yet. Um,
We didn't. I think we talked about care for the decks,
mm-hmm.
which fences, I mean, a wood fence and a wood deck, pretty much the same thing.
Right.
Uh,
I don't know if anybody would find that offensive, but it's true.
I want to say something about everything's offensive nowadays.
Well, even fences. Oh.
Even, even fence talk is offensive. And decks and fences can last a long time. I'm seeing an average of 35 years, but they can go up to 50 as long as you keep them sealed and maintained, which is a good deal to have them sealed at least every year, reseal
Right.
them. Let's see here. Those are the main things that I saw. The main components that you're going to have, mostly, especially around here.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know anything else that you can think of that.
I'm trying to think of what would apply to any of our Canadian friends. I don't know if they have any different needs than we do. Um, thinking of all the Canadian listeners we have. I was thinking about a microwave.
A microwave.
A lot of people have those.
They're pretty good. They're close to the 10-year mark, even in themselves. Yeah. Up north, they're going to have heat pumps
Yeah, that's right.
instead of the actual furnaces, and they will go out usually sooner than a furnace. So your actual furnace, you're looking at 15 to 20 years. A heat pump, you're pushing 15 on it. So that's probably going to be on the lower end, but
Yeah.
heat pumps are hardcore.
I remember learning about them in school, and I was thinking that everybody had them. I don't even know why I even learned about them in school. I guess maybe it was part of earth science, learning about geothermal type things, but
Yeah.
ironically that's like one of the things that stuck with me that doesn't apply to my life in any way.
In any way, yeah. You rarely see heat pumps down here in the South.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can maybe put together a list if any listeners out there want like something in writing, and we can put all these down and have them available. So if anybody's interested out there and thinks that a list of how long everything lasts, just a quick cheat sheet
Yeah.
that we can put together. Let's see.
Yeah, let's start doing. We can put that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we can do that on Facebook. I'm gonna say like email us, right? At dontknockoutthatwall@gmail.com. And then our email address. If that's something interesting to somebody, email us, be like, yeah, give me the cheat sheet.
Well, I think if we post it on Facebook, like just among our images, then they can just download it from there if they want.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a reference. We don't really have any pictures on there yet, except there's a picture of you and me speaking to each other via Zoom.
Yeah.
Our logo, and that's it.
So we need some more stuff. I think we're doing good so far. We're on Libsyn and iTunes and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a good start.
We'll post all those links on our Facebook page, facebook.com/dontknockoutthatwall.
I'm ready to be able to say you can find us on iTunes podcast or wherever you find your podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says that. And
oh, man.
yeah.
Those are the big dogs right there.
Yeah. If anybody wants to sponsor us to be able to say that.
Yeah. I would love, honestly, we've mentioned it twice. I think that it would be great if we are to that point where we get enough downloads to merit a sponsor. It would be great to have one of these subscription services for the filters to be our sponsor.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'm going to keep talking that up. They're not paying us any money
Yet. Nobody's paying us any money yet.
Yes.
Just wait.
The future is bright.
Absolutely. Randomly, speaking of bright, it looks like it's daytime where you are. I don't know if Ashley just has some kind of crazy light back there for her painting. Yeah, right through there.
That
It
thing
looks
right
like the
there.
sun is coming through that window.
Yeah, that this if you can kind of see the outline of it, I'm
Yep,
pointing to that.
I can
That
kind of
is
see
her
that. Yeah,
fancy artist light.
it's very bright.
Yeah. I mean, there's one thing, I don't know if we've talked about this. There's one thing with these older houses is that there's only certain rooms they really bothered to put in enough windows for natural light. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
would certainly love to put in additional windows in this house, in
Mm.
this room and the other room, and
Yeah.
maybe a tiny window in the bathroom. Um, but yeah, I mean, my wife's an artist. She likes to paint. She needs light, so she had to buy an artificial light, basically. The best light that we get in the house is our bedroom because it has the most windows.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. That sounds like a good podcast slash YouTube video to let's put some windows in your house.
Yeah,
Let's add some natural light to you.
I mean, there's more than one way to do it. There's
Yes.
probably several of those are wrong, but
I'm about to say let's get some rubber mallets and go to
that is going to be a long video.
town. What not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that that doesn't count as knocking out a wall, right? Because
No,
you
I was
just
just thinking it probably does because
is
I
it
mean
is
I
that
gotta. Well, okay, that is a good question because if we're making a hole in a wall, we're not technically knocking out the wall.
right? So we're still good. That's
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's knock some holes in some walls.
I, I don't know if a structural engineer would agree with us, but maybe we don't have to ask him. I mean, it's my house. Just come on over.
It's exactly. It's your house. I mean, it's exterior walls. So what possibly could go wrong putting holes in exterior walls?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're good.
Famous last words. What could possibly go wrong?
Just FYI, exterior walls are very structurally bound, so don't go knocking out exterior walls because we said so.
We're trying to reiterate the fact that knocking out walls is something you shouldn't be
Yeah.
rash about.
Yeah.
I don't know if that point has sunk in yet.
Definitely know what you're doing. Or at least Google it a few times.
Oh goodness,
I mean,
yes.
come on.
Hopefully, when they Google it, they'll say exactly what we're saying. Don't do it.
Yeah. That'd be funny. It'd be like Google, like, how to knock out a wall. And the first thing is our podcast. Don't knock out a wall. And like, oh, huh.
We'll
Maybe
get there.
maybe I should rethink some things.
We'll be number one on Google.
I like it. I like it. Let me see here. Okay, that's really all I have. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a wrap. Then that sounds like a good one.
Is that a good show?
Yeah.
It sounded like a really good show. I like it.
Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. As we have said before, you can reach us on Facebook at Don't Knock Out That Wall or Don't Knock Out That Wall at gmail.com. So I'm Matt. And the other guy,
I am Brandon,
That's
aka
him.
Agent Wiggins. You can
Agent
find
Wiggins.
me on
Agent Wiggins.
yes. So Facebook at Brandon Wiggins Realtor, Instagram, I believe it's Agent Wiggins. It might be Agent Wiggins Realtor, and YouTube is Agent Wiggins Realtor.
Okay, yeah.
So there are some YouTube videos out there for home buyers, sellers, that kind of thing. Tips, tricks.
I'll probably make some YouTube videos. I have a lot of videos that will eventually be on YouTube, so stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. Love it.
So thanks again for listening, and until the next time, we want to make sure that we have, again, driven the point home as much as possible. Please, for goodness sake, don't knock out that wall.
Don't knock out that wall.
Don't do it.
I love it. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of the night,
You too.
and I will talk to you soon.
Have a great one.
Yes, sir. Later.
Bye.
Love you.